Soldier! You know him, you love him, you lie awake at night praying that he does not invade your dreams and force him into his twisted idea of a perfect reality again.
It's perfect.
He's an odd class to make a rebalance video for, as most of his options are either equal to stock or fill a niche that makes them worthwhile. But the bad weapons he does have like to toe the line on uselessness. That is to say, this video should be fairly short, but given that this is the third sentence of the script, I'm not making any promises. Before we get into it, some quick reminders. This series is practice for me to learn game balancing. There might be oversights or problems with the ideas. Feel free to tell me about such. The numbers used in these changes are estimates. While I have done some math for them, I have no way to test or fine-tune them. But let's not waste any more time now. As an American, the desire for all to be equal is ingrained in my very DNA. Which means I feel excruciating pain whenever I see something as bad as the Equalizer. Now, let's get to the changes. Unsurprisingly, the Liberty Launcher is up first. The main problem with this weapon is that it just doesn't do much damage, which is intentional. It's supposed to be a more versatile option that compensates for damage with a variety of buffs. The problem with that is that the stock rocket launcher is already versatile, and the Liberty Launcher just doesn't have the upsides to redeem the damage loss. So, I'm gonna have to tweak the intention a bit. I'll give it yet another rocket to the clip, and change the rocket speed to a 15% faster reload. This raises the damage per clip to 408. Which is higher than stocks, but dealt at a slower rate. This design gives the weapon two main roles it can fill. The first is similar to the original design, being versatile and consistent. With an extra rocket and a faster reload, you'll almost always have something loaded, making it harder to be caught unprepared. The second and more interesting role is for rocket jump heavy playstyles. Given you have 6 rockets, a faster reload, and take less self-damage, you're capable of being more liberal with rocket jumps, or taking routes most launchers can't. This should make the Liberty Launcher a non-gimmicky rocket jump-based launcher, like a thing betwixt the stock rocket launcher and the rocket jumper. The Cow Mangler might not be a weapon you were expecting to see, but I wanted to change it a bit, as it's basically the stock launcher with a secondary fire that's usually not worth using. As for the change, well, I don't know exactly. I went through many designs for this, but each time I realized a fatal flaw in them. While I'd usually go back and try again, I've already done so like 6 times, and the last one was after I finished the draft script for this video. So, for the Mangler, I will give you the idea that I wanted to go with, but couldn't quite solve. It would be a counterpart to the Beggar's Bazooka, where you would load multiple rockets into one attack, but instead of firing a barrage, the Mangler would fire a powerful charge shot. With each rocket loaded, the charge shot would move faster, deal more damage, and have a larger explosion radius. And with enough rockets, would mini-crit, inflict afterburn, and stun buildings. I considered giving it a 6 clip, or making it load faster than stock, or gaining effects as you loaded rockets, but in the end, I couldn't find a design I was happy with. So, if you've got any ideas, feel free to comment them, because I'm too far into the script to go back and redo everything again. The Beggars isn't a weapon that needs any changes to it, but due to the way the Beggars works, you're able to just spam fire with an endless clip, while only firing about half a second slower than stock. So, I've decided to change the way it works a bit. The barrage firing is the same, but the inaccuracy and explosion radius penalties are no longer permanent. Instead, they are slowly applied while attacking. Each time you fire, you lose 1 degree of accuracy and 5% explosion radius, which caps out at 6 degrees of inaccuracy and a 30% smaller radius. When not firing, these stats will return, The longer you don't fire, the faster they come back. This actually buffs the beggars, as the first 3 rockets you fire are all a bit stronger than normal. And while this does apply to spam fire as well, spamming will cause your rockets to stay weak for longer. Overall, this design is intended to center around maintaining accuracy and knowing when to load a barrage, spam rockets, or cool down. I'm not entirely confident in this design. I could definitely see it being overpowered given you're not always going to be in prolonged combat, or the spam changes not being punishing enough to dissuade it. But I'm not going to go too far down that route when I can't do any testing. Kicking off the secondaries is the Righteous Bison, because of course it is. The Bison's always been at the bottom, mostly due to trying to be a certain type of weapon while avoiding the innate consequences that come with it. The main idea is that it's good for enemies who are either far away or retreating, while not being too spammy. But it's just never been good at either. Or anything really. Let's make it more interesting and a bit better. First, simply increase the base damage to 30, making it slightly stronger. Second is to give it altered reverse fall off, and the last change is a bit weirder. Make the projectile slow as it travels. It starts at the same speed, but slows down until it reaches 600 hammer units, double the speed of Pyro and Gene Sniper. Now, this is partially a nerf to the Bison, as it will be easier to dodge. However, due to reverse fall off, it'll be dealing 36 damage per tick, and with its speed, it will be more likely to hit multiple times and be around for much longer. This is meant to be good at farther ranges, killing retreating enemies, or even just taking up space, as the projectile will be active for a while. But the problem is that this design is also good at spam, and I just don't think that's avoidable without making large changes to the Bison. While I do think it would be better to change the Bison's purpose, I want these designs to mostly keep in line with the original intentions. And when I do change a weapon's purpose, it's because it's just not worthwhile or has too much overlap with another weapon. The base jumper is a one-trick pony. You basically never see it outside of airstrike loadouts. Now, part of that is that a parachute just isn't what you want to bring to a battlefield, but still, it shouldn't be as inflexible as it is. So while it's not going to make the base jumper good, we can at least make it more fun. First, its biggest fault is that you can only deploy it once. Now, this isn't pointless, it's on the weapon for a good reason. It used to not be there, and some players were nearly impossible to kill because they could use it well. It's hard to fight someone who can manipulate the force of gravity by pressing space. But I think there's a much better way to do this. It now has an airtime meter. The meter decreases while the parachute is deployed, and when it reaches 0, it can't be used. After deployment, getting hit will reduce the meter as long as you're in the air, and it will be reduced more while the parachute is active. The meter quickly refills after being grounded for a second. This should make the weapon more flexible, while also not making it too strong in the right hands. Hey, you've been watching this video for 8.5 minutes. Clearly you're liking it, so... you know... Wait, why is there a chapter for this? It's literally just the Equalizer. You're probably already aware of the Equalizer's story. Overpowered at first, got its stat split, and became useless as the speed was the good part of the weapon. To give it something more, I've decided to give it another scaling stat. This one being Universal Switch Speed, which caps out at 50%. Unlike the Equalizer's damage, this does not make your switch speed lower at full health. Increased switch speed can allow you to suddenly turn the tables on someone who is kicking your ass, as you're now capable of switching to and from a shotgun very quickly. Wait, this is the wrong game. While I don't think this will be as good as Soldier's other melees, I think it gives a worthwhile niche, and therefore will find its way into more loadouts. And that's it. Those are all the changes for Soldier. And this script is 2 pages shorter than the last one. Thanks for watching. And before you go, I'd like to reach 500 subscribers within a year of my first upload. And given you watched this far, you're clearly enjoying the content. So why not do us both a favor?